When you really think about it, we all have to be a leader in our own space, and not one leader is more important than the other. And so I really believe in that. And so it's for all women in all career paths. And that's how DeW was founded 8 years ago. You don't find your passions find you. I really feel that's what happened to me. I didn't set out to run this huge organization of women in dentistry, but it found me. And I feel called for that because all the women in dentistry needed was someone to open the door and have a generous community of people that want to help you, lift you up. But women are entrepreneurial because we're all spinning 10 plates and we're wearing heels and we're dancing backwards, and our men are lovely. They're laser focused. We love men. Yeah. But women seem to run and conduct, honestly, the world at large in our own little world and beyond.
Welcome to another episode of the Irreplaceable Dental Team. Okay, guys, I always tell you that I have a gem, but this time I have the gem of gems. Her name is Anne Duffy, and I've known her for a few years, and she heads DEW, also known as DeW, Dental Entrepreneur Woman. And welcome to the Irreplaceable Dental Team.
Oh my God, Heather, thank you so much for having me. I love you. And we always feel this like strong connection whenever we see each other on Zoom. I can't wait to get a big hug in person someday soon.
Absolutely. I'm coming in November. Don't forget that.
I'm so excited. Made my day.
So for the benefit of my viewers and listeners, can you tell us a little bit more about who Anne Duffy is and how she shows up in the world?
Oh my goodness. I'm just like everybody else. I'm a woman that, came from I was lucky. I came from a really nice family and born in Dayton, Ohio. I'll go all the way back to birth, Heather. Okay. So, just started out my dental career, at Ohio State and in dental hygiene, and practiced for 46 years clinically. I loved my profession. I loved dental hygiene. And somewhere along my early 40s, and when my husband decided to, quit his corporate job after 10 moves and, decided to start his own business as an entrepreneur. And I thought it was fantastic and brilliant because he's so smart and we were going to be millionaires right away. I started my first side gig when I realized, we're kind of second wind here. I need to make a little bit more money, but I was the chauffeur for the kids for soccer and basketball and dance and all those things. So I always kept the dental hygiene career going. So I was working 2 days a week and started a side gig. And one side gig led to another and led to another and led to another. And I think that's part of my story and my journey is that, after 10 moves and taking 6 state boards, and the grit that takes, and then taking the side gigs, and because I knew that I wanted to keep my career in clinical, but also, I needed to make more money. And each side gig, was a stepping stone. And here I am now, knowing so many women in dentistry during those side gigs, and building teams of women, I realized that women were maybe not getting their due. And then one specific day when I called a good friend of mine that was just checking in like we check in with each other, right? And she was crying hysterically. And her boss in her 360 review had written that her smile was insincere and it looked like she was plotting something. And I just said, that's insane, my dear friend Sue, because you're the most sincere person I know. And dang it, I'm just going to start another magazine to highlight the amazing women in dentistry that you and I both know. They love beauty, they're smart, they're caring, they love relationships. And darn it, there wasn't really a magazine to incorporate all women in dentistry. And I love that you talk about the team, Heather, because all team members are important. And honestly, when you really think about it, we all have to be a leader in our own space. And not one leader is more important than the other. And so I really believe in that. So it's for all women in all career paths. And that's how DeW was founded 8 years ago. And that's where I'm at now, right? I've got Dental Entrepreneur, The Future of Dentistry, which was my first publication, which I still have. And that's why I called it Dental Entrepreneur Woman, because I already had one magazine. And so the two of those together keep me pretty busy.
I can imagine. So, Anne, can you share with my listeners the primary mission of DeW and how you envision its impact on women in dentistry over the next 5 years or so?
Oh, I'd love to. The main thing that I started was highlighting women in dentistry. And I soon realized that I wanted to empower and inspire them. And then connection. So that is what we do. We empower, we connect, and we celebrate the women in dentistry. The wins and the losses, because every loss or every failure, if you will, is just a stepping stone to something great. And it doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And so we tell a lot of stories about hope. I see that growing. We have, formed a movement. It's funny. Oh, my youngest son just sent this to me. Passions don't find you. No, wait. You don't find your passions. That's it. You don't find your passions find you. Yeah. So and that's Jeff Bezos. My son sent that to me. I was like, really, from Amazon? But anyway, I'm sure he heard it from some sage woman out there, I would imagine. But I'm like, no, I'm kidding, Jeff. But I really feel that's what happened to me. I didn't set out to run this huge organization of women in dentistry, but it found me. And I feel called for that, because all the women in dentistry needed was someone to open the door and have a generous community of people that want to help you, lift you up, and advocate for you when you're not in the room. And that's what we've had. And I believe my goal in the next 5 years is to continue to grow that, because when someone finds DeW, Dental Entrepreneur Woman, and again, it's all career paths, and you don't have to be an owner, because you and I both know that all women are entrepreneurial. So in fact, Sue, who was the reason I started DeW, still works for a big company. But women are entrepreneurial because we're all spinning 10 plates and we're wearing heels and we're dancing backwards, and our men are lovely. They're laser focused. We love men. Yes. But women seem to run and conduct, honestly, the world at large, in our own little world and beyond. And so I believe that all women need a place in a community that have that common thread of dentistry. And so that's what I envision, is to be able to help them realize you're not alone out there, that we're here to support you and honestly continue to make this a fabulous profession. And so you want to stick in it. And at the end of it, you say, boy, that was a great ride. And I loved every minute.
That is awesome. I always say to my mentees, look for a gap and fill it. That's exactly what you did. And based on the growth of DeW, it's obvious that there was a big need for it. There was a big gap. So thank you for being an official gap filler.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was an accident, but I'll take it and I appreciate it. And you're part of it. And I first met you, just meeting you was so wonderful for me. We have similar hearts and we love strength finders. And, I again, one of my principles is good do's, find good do's. And here we are, doing each other's podcast. I love it.
We are. Yes, I love it. And it's interesting that you should mention strength finders, because that's a part of my next question. Can you share with my audience what strength finders is and what motivated you to incorporate it into the work with women in dentistry?
Oh, golly, I love this story so much. And very few people ask me that. But okay, so when I hung up the phone, I said to my friend Sue, Sue, we're just going to dedicate this we're going to bring strength finders to dentistry and love. Love came, I'll start with love, came because Mother Teresa was her husband's mother's best friend in the United States. So I knew that about Sue. And when Mother Teresa would come to the States in Minneapolis, she would stay with John's family. And when John was a little boy, he would play trucks with Mother Teresa. So I said to Sue, come on, we can do this. We'll dedicate it to Mother Teresa. She was all about love. That was the first thing. The second thing that was really important to me was Strength Finders, and it's been 16 years now, 16 years ago, that I was at a cocktail party and there was a bunch of buzz in the corner and they're all talking about this program that they're doing. And it was called Strength Finders. And I was like, oh, tell me about it. It's a new personality test at the time, I thought, but really it's a performance test. It's how we operate, right? You're certified at it. I'm just a big fan. But we took it. I drugged my husband and two of our adult kids. I said, we're going to do this. They have 4 openings. Let's do it. That changed our lives. My husband being the entrepreneur, and I would have a meltdown every 6 months, Heather. And I realized during Strength Finders that guess what? He is made divinely to be an entrepreneur. So Anne, he's not going back to corporate. Celebrate Tom for who Tom is. My daughter, we still do this a little bit, but always trying to fit that square peg in a round hole. And I realized, oh my gosh, she's perfect the way she is. Celebrate her. And then our son, our youngest son at the time, he pretty much did a good job raising himself. We were kind of busy with the first 2 knuckleheads and he came along and it made me understand him as well and to celebrate his uniqueness. And the other thing that I will say is I took this within our parish. So I was raised Catholic and I am a practicing Catholic, but Don Clifton, and I think I mentioned this to you one time, I'm not really sure, Heather, but he was a devout Catholic. Don Clifton is the father of Strength Finders. And so he has a Catholic version. So when I took Strength Finders at our parish, it was all about the gifts that God had given me in the womb. Gifts that he knew what I was meant for and he knew what I needed to do in my life. And he armed me with those tools and those talents. And all I needed to do was put knowledge and experience in it, and I would be on rocket fuel. And when I realized that I was actually living my strengths at the time in the position I was in, just gave me so much confidence because I'm a believer that everything does flow from our higher power through me to the world, and I'm doing it. So when I get a little tired building DeW and being the CEO of what I'm doing, I always go back to but you know what? Guess what? I was meant for this. And it gives me the confidence, but always also gives me the courage and the will to continue on those days that, unlike you, I don't have a compressor in my office. But when my compressor goes down, it does give me that fuel because I know that I'm using my talents. And I think that's important for all of us to validate what we're really good at, meant for. And I just feel like that's just our secret sauce.
And you know what? One life really impacts another because it's me sitting in a DeW meeting, hearing about Strength Finders and thinking, oh, let me do some research. I took the test. I looked at it. I said, but these people don't know me, but they know me.
Yeah.
And that led to me doing 2 things, making sure that my team was tested, but also going on to get certified because like you, when you've heard of a good thing and a good thing is working for you, you got to share it, right?
Well, okay. So that is, so you learned about DeW, the Strength Finders from DeW? I forgot about that.
No. Years ago, maybe about 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh, it makes so much sense to me that with your top 5, of course you're going to go and get certified, because you're a learner.
Yes.
That's amazing. That just makes perfect sense. And a learner, when you have learner in your top 5, as you know, you're very well equipped to communicate it in a very good manner so people do understand it. So you are so living your strengths. Also, I'm so proud of you. That's when I did a keynote, basically, my first keynote, Heather, about 3 weeks ago, my very first. Now I'm going to be 72 in October. So ladies, if you're listening.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So what
we are live
Yeah.
on YouTube? Are you going to tell people that big fib like that?
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. Something about Zoom makes me look a little bit better. But think about it. So many women think that they just don't do it in time. They don't do it in time. Look, I was almost 72, did my first keynote, and I realized, I thought about, what do I really want an audience to know? And I talked about strengths. And darned if two of the gals in the audience came up to me about half an hour later. I was at a luncheon, and they both had individually gone to their rooms and taken strength finders. So if I can share, like you said, one person to love themselves, because I think I feel like we fall in love with ourselves again. And then love others, because I love you. And now I love you even more when I know what your yummy strengths are, because I'm like, oh, she's special, because all of them are great, right? Everybody has amazing strengths. And to your question, that's what I wanted to bring to dentistry. Fun story, on our very first retreat, I think this is our 8th annual retreat. No, it's our 8th or 7th. I can't remember. But anyway, the very first one, I thought, we'll get 12 people. We'll get 12 women. It'll be really nice. And we had 100. And out of 100, there were only about 8 in the room. And most of them were from my dental office that I brought to my team that had known about strength finders. I mean, everybody knows about DISC, and, now the Enneagram is big, and Myers-Briggs and all that. But so I really feel like between you and me, we're bringing it to dentistry in a big way. And tell me, what came from that when your team took the assessment?
I think what I would say is, a lot of times people take for granted some things about themselves, know some things about themselves, but don't have the language to share. This is what I bring. This is how I process. So when you do something like Strength Finders, and it gives you a theme, and you see all these talents that you can tick off in that theme, it gives you the assurance, okay, so it's not good or bad. This is just how I roll.
Yeah.
So it gives you a kind of empowerment to say, okay, this is what you're asking me to do. Which one of my strengths can I engage to do it optimally?
Yes.
And so it continues to be empowering, because as we train as individuals, but we also train to say, okay, this is what our team looks like. We have a lot of people who engage. We have a lot of people who are strategic. We have a lot of people who are relational, but only 1 or 2 who are communicators. So how can we fill those gaps so that as a team, we present ourselves to the world even better? So it's really a fantastic tool that we can look and work on the positives and enhance what we're already good at individually and collectively. So Strength Finders has been a big win-win for individuals and for the team overall.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That really says it so much about, first of all, your generosity for your team, and then just as a way to pour into your team and to let them know that they're, in the right spot. And if they don't do something so well, maybe they weren't meant to do that one piece, right? I love the example they give in the book. It's like, okay, so somebody came in and recommended their husband be a greeter, and he was not the greeting type. He was the type that wanted to just go into the room and sit by himself and just kind of take it all in, and so it just goes to, and that's not a bad thing, because we need people like that as well, right? We need every little piece, and I love that analogy that you say, fill in the gap. It's neat.
So and as people come in and out of our sphere, we have a responsibility to gift them some things that are not just good for today, but good for tomorrow, not just good for our offices, but good for wherever they go. And Strength Finders equips each person to show up in the world authentically, knowing what they can confidently say, I bring this to the table.
Yes.
This is the way that I find best works for me to address this problem. And so you can speak from a sense of knowledge to a new person or team that you're working with, or coming into a team that you've been working with before to say, hey, I think we could improve if we could look at it this way and that way and that way, without guessing, because we're aware of everybody's strengths and our talents that we work on to improve. And we're always on an upward trajectory, right?
Yes. And the other thing that hit me is like, also we give ourselves grace for having those weaknesses. Like individualization is my number 34. And for those listening, it's 1 through 34. So I am not the best gift buyer. So like my oldest son, who was in LA for, 15 years, he did tell me one Christmas, he says, Mom, I really don't need anything else from Banana Republic. I appreciate you. I love you. But, and he's an LA dude. I mean, he's back in Charlotte, but he looks like he's from LA. So I finally realized that, and I gave myself a break. I'm like, hey guys, don't expect a really great gift from me, because it's just not in my wheelhouse. What do you want for your birthday this year? What do you for Christmas? So it gave me grace for myself, because I used to beat myself up like, oh, well then, all the tags were still on all the clothes I bought the kids all those years, and you know what I mean, all that sort of stuff. So I think that I think when you concentrate on your weaknesses, it gives you a lack of confidence, and we really want people to thrive, and again, like you were saying, validate what we're good at, and so we can lean into that.
So just a sidebar, as I continue to give you grace, I feel that when our kids reach a certain age, everything changes about them, and this child that you thought you knew inside out, you don't even know them. Hence the reason for gift certificates. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'm taking that one for sure. So I called my son's wife. I said, I think I want to, who's his barber? What clothes stores does he frequent? And that would allow me to buy the different gift certificates, because now he's using them for things that he enjoys rather than me just trying to guess. So hot tip, gift certificates, okay?
Hot tip. Thank you. I'll remember. I'm going to put that, tattoo that on my wrist, if you don't mind. That's awesome.
So Anne, I have a question for you. What do you perceive as the biggest challenges women face in the dental profession today? And how does DeW help address these issues?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is it's a lonely ride. It's a lonely walk, especially if you're a practice owner, or you're a business owner. Like so many coaches and consultants, I mean, we've attracted women that quite often work remotely or in a silo. And even if you had, I mean, I don't know what consultants are saying so much now, because I'm not in the practice, but it used to be, the owner cannot be a friend of anybody, cannot let their real true empathy show to the team, and just little things like that. But, when you're in a room of women, the answer is in the ladies' room, and that's principle number 4. The answer is in the ladies' room. And so you can find out like what is working for somebody else with no judgment, Heather. That's the thing. I mean, I think it's maybe sometimes harder, like even if you're talking about your kids, you don't want to tell a mom whose kid seems to be perfect and your kid's struggling, and she's not the person you want to talk to. It's better to talk to a stranger. Say, hey, listen, I'm having a problem with this child here. Give me some advice or whatever. So I think in the DeW community, bringing the different career paths has really helped me understand your position as a practice owner, Heather. I think that's what I hear a lot with the hygienists and other careers in our DeW community. They have learned so much from the practice owners, and they realize it's not that easy. like, oh, I should be getting a raise and, all the different things. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the things that we address is being able to talk about what's happening, the good, the bad, and the wins and the losses. But it just helps us understand what role women are playing within dentistry. And the question was, what are the challenges? So being alone and not having, a good community I think community is very, very key. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in dental, but, a community, through your church or through your neighborhood, through your family. The other thing is that, honestly, to tell you the truth, men are still running dentistry. And so just recently, which just killed me, there's a meeting that people were talking about. There were 30 speakers and 2 were women. So who's advocating for the women speakers? Surely they could have found more women speakers, but if the men are running it, then they're going to recommend and advocate for themselves. So we need more women to get into those places of decision makers and be able to, advocate for the females that they know and respect. And that only happens if you are in relationship with somebody. So you have to get in relationship to be considered for these roles. And so I think that's another thing that is a challenge, because somebody was just telling me it's 66%. Well, I think it's 66% at Tufts University of female graduating dentists versus male. So and then you think of the dental hygiene and even the assistant. I mean, the dental hygiene assistant, it's, let's make it up, 95%, and things being generous, 95% women. And the generous part is 5% male. So, I mean, I have never worked with a male assistant or a male dental hygienist, and I've been in dentistry for 46 years. So anyway, those are things I think we're so female centric, and yet we're not making the decisions what are best for us. And I think that, that's important, because there should be a way for women to be able to have this great career in dentistry and be able to take care of their families and be able to have the balance that they need. And I think it's there. It's just that we've got to have our voices heard.
So that is such a salient point. I do a fair amount of executive coaching. And when I graduated, I think I was at the cusp of the changing of the makeup of the dental class from being primarily male to at least half and half. And as you said at Tufts, I think women have just crossed that threshold. And the truth is, a female entrepreneur is very different from a male entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah.
Female leader is very different from a male leader. And what I've found with these ladies that I have been coaching is they need a space, because I can't share with my team what I can share with a member of DeW. And so they have essentially found a sounding board. And somebody who has been there, done that, to say, hey, you're okay. You just need to tweak this or think about that or whatever. And a little goes a long way when we're encouraging people. A little goes a long way when we are validating people. A little goes a long way when we are helping them to lift the lid. And what I mean by that is, my mentor, John C. Maxwell, says, your team will go as high as you go. So you always have to be on that path of moving up so that your team can grow. And we in dental school got a lot of training clinically, but in terms of the leadership, in terms of the entrepreneurship, in terms of the mentoring, in terms of the systems, all of the other things that allow for a successful business, we're learning on the go. I was fortunate enough that when I graduated and I found an associateship, it was in an office that really saw the value of practice management team, working with them. And so learned so much coming out the gate. But that's not the norm. I was just blessed that way. And so we have many young ladies trying to figure it out. It's not quite coming together. They're not sure what's happening. But in community, when you can share and learn that you just need to tweak that a little bit, or maybe you should focus here a little bit, or maybe, based on your personality or based on your strength, you should look in that. It can open doors that may have seemed permanently shut. You get what I'm saying? So I am underscoring and highlighting the blessings of community. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, you're welcome. And I love that you said that a little bit, because it usually is just that 1 degree shift. And women will come to you and they say, everything's broken. And, I think if they need someone like you, that, you're so intuitive, and that's what women are. We're intuitive. We do have that, I think it's a sixth sense, if you will, to be able to see inside somebody, and the empathy that just comes naturally by being a woman. I mean, men are different. I love men. They're different. And, you can't live with them and you can't live without them. That's the truth. But I think that it's super cool for you to be able to see that in somebody else and be able to show them that, hey, it's okay. Hold my hand and I will get you there. And I think, again, that's what a good community is there for you, holding you up when you need held up, and then giving you the awareness that when you're strong and you see somebody faltering or needing a hand, you will reach out and lift them up. And I think sometimes you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know anything about this until I was in my 40s. And my first side gig happened to be a leadership company, but it never, ever dawned on me to think about what I wanted, or that I could have this vision of, well, whatever I'm doing now. I never really dreamed about this, but just all the things that are inside of us that sometimes we need somebody else to see it in us to bring it out. Yes, absolutely. And that's why we go back to community. Mm-hmm. So looking at DeW, are there any exciting projects or initiatives that you'd like to share with our listeners upcoming? You can talk about our meeting, our retreat in November, but just in case there's anything else, I want to give you an opportunity to be generous with your sharing. Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I would just ask everyone to check us out. It's DEW.life, and that DEW stands for Dental Entrepreneur Woman. .life. And there's all sorts of tiers we put into place at the retreat. So I had a couple of the gals came to me at the DEWs, and they were like, we need to put some tiers to meet people in the stage where they're at. And so we've got 3 tiers now on our membership platform, which is lovely. And pick the menu that fits with you and floats your boat. You can always move up or move down. So we've got a membership platform, and that gives you the opportunity to write for us anytime and be on our podcast and things like that, which give you expert status. So especially if you're looking to get maybe speak or consult or do other things, or just have your career fulfilled. It's obviously nice to be able to do those things, to be highlighted. There's that. And then our retreat's coming up. We have 1 retreat a year, and I'm so excited that you're going to be there, because we'll have 250 women coming in from all over. And honestly, I'm going to call it a leadership retreat this year. I think when I started, I really didn't know what. I think I was probably the first retreat in dentistry, and now there's a ton of retreats out there. But, it's always going to be laced with love for our higher power, whoever that is. And we have all different religions in DeW, but also laced with living your strengths. And again, bringing women together. So what we have speakers that speak for about 20 minutes, and then we have round tables, and then we have table talk, because that's where the secret sauce is, really, among the women during that table talk, and then the networking that you're going to have. You're going to meet women from all over, and you'll see your career will soar, because they're going to help you get where you want to know, or they're going to know somebody that can. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It has been such a wonderful experience sharing with you. I can't believe the time has gone by so quickly. I have 3 rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready? Oh, no. Yes, I'm ready. I'm nervous, but I'm ready. Okay.
Oh, don't be nervous. Bucket, what's the one place that you'd love to visit?
Ireland. I want to take my husband to Ireland. And we were just talking about this before our heads hit the pillow last night. So that's a good, easy one.
Okay. All right. Favorite dessert?
Vanilla ice cream.
Oh,
Yeah. Especially when it's in
a plain Jane.
I know. I just love it. And especially if it's one of those Dairy Queen, swirls in a cone. Yeah, I'll take that over anything.
You, girl, but we got to school you here. We have the number 4 rated ice cream in Jamaica. It's called Devon House. I promise you, if you come to visit me and I'll take you there, Dairy Queen won't have a chance.
Okay, I will try it. I will try it. It might just bump vanilla out of the picture. Okay, that's great.
And the final question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. One aspect of your life that was so fantastic, you wish you could go back and do it again.
Oh, goodness. I would, this is, I think I got really lucky and marrying my husband, it will be 50 years in August, and I would do it all over again. He's just the love of my life. And, I think it's not hard to be married to him, and we're still in love. And I got, that I would do that all over again. And it's the joy of my life.
Well, can I tell you? That answer makes up for the vanilla Dairy Queen response. You are living the dream that many women wish they could.
Oh,
so
I know.
For sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
You promise me one thing.
What? Anything.
You will come back again and share more of all you have to share with us, either from dental entrepreneur women or Anne Duffy at large. Either.
Hey, my pleasure. Next time I'll read the questions before we get started, and I'll be more prepared. What a joy to be with you today, Heather. I'm just so happy. You made my Friday. This is beautiful. It's going to be Mother's Day weekend here, and this is about the last thing I'm going to do today. And I'm going to just enjoy the weekend. And I just appreciate you and all you do for dentistry and for the world at large.
Thank you. And I am honored that you fit me in at the tail end of the beginning as you begin a fabulous weekend.
Yes. Thank you.
Always such a pleasure sharing with Anne. And, she reminded us of so many salient points. The fact that we have a space in dentistry for women to come together, to share, to network, to celebrate, and to help each other elevate. It's priceless. And Strength Finders is something that any team anywhere can do to sharpen our awareness of each other's strengths and see how best they can help to elevate individuals and teams. Community. Life is always better with community. By the way, have you subscribed to our YouTube channel? Please, if you have done so, please do so. And share. Don't be selfish. Life is better when we live, learn, and grow together. We'll see you the next time.